little test run to make sure the sound is going good.
Okay.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check.
Yeah, looks that part looks good. So, okay, your name is what?
Ieisha Smith.
Ieisha Smith. Okay, but you go by
I go by Queen Isis.
Queen Isis. And then what is the reason for that?
So Queen Isis is an Egyptian goddess. She comes with a lot of powers, one being nourishing, and I think that's a lot of me. So it was one of the names I kind of alienized.
Okay. So that's like your little persona, like it's like you
Mhm.
kind of embody that.
Yep.
Okay. And then what is the other stuff on your Facebook? It says like Queen Sis.
Oh, so it's Queen Isis the Big One Smith. My daughter's legal name is Queen Isis as well.
Okay.
So I have to make sure I put the big one so they know I'm not the little one.
Oh, okay. I was always wondering that, but I was like, okay. And then when I was writing my thing, I was like, what should I write? So I was like, just let me go look at the book, see what her real name is, because I didn't want to write Queen Isis. So you named your daughter legally Queen Isis?
Sure did.
Oh wow, that's
Needed her to
beautiful.
carry it on for me.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know you can name your kids whatever.
Whatever you want. My son
Yeah.
name is King, and then I named her Queen Isis.
Wow, and then when I named my son, I named him Yosvani Ali, because my name is Yosvani Ali Gasita. Everyone calls me Yogi.
Mhm.
So I made his initials. It's YOGI because
So it's like you're
Yep.
Yogi.
yeah. So he's actually Yogi. If you take the first letter,
Uh-huh.
he's really like his name is really Yogi.
That's dope.
So I made it to like that. So because like everyone calls him Little Yogi and they call me Big Yogi.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. All right. So let's listen back to this. If everything goes good, we'll start the podcast.
All right.
Have faith, show love, give hope today. Together we're stronger in every way. From the streets to the heart, we're breaking the mold.
Welcome back to Have Faith, Show Love, Give Hope, the podcast where I have faith, I show love to my guests, and together we try to give hope to whoever's watching. Today I have a privilege of sitting down with Ieisha Smith. Hi, Ieisha. Welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You have a book. It's called Surviving 18 Years of Slavery. And Hook is the one that linked us up. This is your book right here.
Yep.
And you brought a book for me.
That is for you.
Yeah,
We're gonna get that signed for you.
Yeah, we're gonna sign it and we're gonna put it up there with the rest of the books. And Hook linked us up. I met him through Anthony Gwynn. They came and did a podcast. And then one day he said, he linked us up on a message and he said, Yogi, you should interview her one day. So I was like, okay, yeah, let me. And then I looked on your page and I seen that you wrote a book and all that stuff. So I wanted to sit down with you and talk about, I kind of always ask people about their life growing up and stuff like that, but I don't want to ruin the book for nobody.
Absolutely.
So I don't want you to go in depth of every little thing, especially the things that you have in the book. But I do want you to, get the viewers kind of like, what are they gonna get themselves into getting into the book? And then also later on, I want to ask you like where the mindset of that said, hey, I'm gonna write a book. But for now, like what part of town did you grow up? And like what schools did you go up and that stuff like that?
So I grew up in Glenwood Elementary, right off of Detroit Street, and then I stayed a little bit past Delaware in Detroit, right before the overpass on a street called Lawton. That's what I remember as a child,
Mhm.
as far as where I grew up at. But that shortly changed after about 10 years old. We kind of started hopping around the city.
Okay. And did you have a lot of brothers and sisters?
I had a lot of foster brothers and sisters.
Oh, so you're a foster kid.
I did grow up in foster care. Originally, that home that I stayed in, it was my biological sister who had custody of me at the time, but she had a lot of foster children. So those are the kids I was raised around.
Mm. Okay, and your mom and dad were gone?
Dad deceased, mom in the streets.
Oh, okay. Even from when you were a little baby? So you were born into like trauma and
Absolutely.
all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So was your mom a drug addicted mom when you were in the belly? Do you know about
To
that?
explain it in a shorter term,
Mhm.
my first chapter of my book is called Crack Baby Arrives. So what does that tell you?
Okay, yeah. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, first
So
chapter is called Crack Baby Arrives.
it's a lot of trauma from the day you were born. And then okay, so growing up, like tell me a little bit about like your youth, like
So growing up, without going into too much detail, because
yes.
again, this book, in my opinion, is my truth. So it talks from beginning to end of what I remember about my childhood.
Mhm.
And it was rough.
It was rough.
It was wild. It reminded me of the image of a dog fight.
Mhm.
How they would train you to fight.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what that life was like.
That's how it was. And then how about high school? Did you end up going to high school and all
So
that
then
kind of
once
stuff?
hitting high school, I kind of took some of the trauma for being a younger adolescent and took it out physically, throughout high school. So I got into a lot of fights.
Uh,
Um, and still going in and out of the system, I dealt with a lot of shame behind that. So I fought.
mm,
And then it got to a point where fighting just became the protection of me, the story of me.
mm. And you had to fight like just to get like respect, or did people pick on you and stuff?
Respect, had to fight about what was left of my innocence. The picking in high school, I came out of a home where throughout elementary and junior high, the kids that did know me and follow along through high school, they were like, that's a foster kid, or she grew up in a house with all light skinned kids. And
Mm.
you could tell the difference, in how I was treated compared to the other children.
Was any of those children your biological?
No,
No. So you were the only one that
I
was
was the only
your
blood
blood.
relation in the home.
Oh, and there was all different kinds of like you said, light skin.
Yeah, light skinned kids with, Caucasian mothers and black fathers. And it seemed like back then that was one of the things. You get a bunch of kids, get a bunch of checks, get a bunch of welfare, and
Oh,
no matter what happens to these children, you're paid.
oh. So it was just like collecting a bunch of kids just to make money. It really what?
All the way down to Social Security.
So nobody was really taking care of the kids that good.
Not on a protective level, like ensuring the safety of us, no.
Yeah.
To dress us up like a a gift under the Christmas tree for church, that was one eye of everything. It got all the way down to the point where after I released this book, I got invited to a meeting with a group of women, and it was she's not young, she's older, but it was a young lady in there who was like, "I remember you."
Mm.
And I looked, and for a while of sitting there amongst her, I'm like, "I don't know her." Like she looked kind of familiar, and when she told me, she used to be the nail tech of the woman who was raising me. And she
Uh,
said, I always wonder what happened to you. She didn't ask any questions about, I mean, she did eventually ask the whereabouts of the other kids. She said, but I specifically wondered what happened to you.
yeah. What was it about you? You think?
I was the only black one.
Oh,
I was
and
the
she
only
was she a
dark-skinned
black
one.
lady too?
Mhm.
Oh, so she felt
And
like
she can see the difference in the treatment
yeah.
from how you dress them to how you feed them to how you talk to them. Like,
Yeah. Did you feel a lot of like animosity over like people treating you different?
oh, absolutely. That's why I fought so much.
Yeah. Did you fight at home like your brothers and
Oh, yeah.
sisters, like the foster kids and stuff?
They trained me to fight them. Like,
Uh,
that's where it all started. They would get in trouble. She would use me as discipline. So let her out the basement. They had this room called Isha's room. Isha's room was a enclosed front porch that was not insulated whatsoever. And no matter spring, winter, summer, I had to go on this porch. So and butt naked at that.
what?
So whenever she would let me off the porch, it'll be to beat up one of the kids. And that was my way of being released for the day from the porch or even the basement.
Wow.
So yeah.
And she called the porch. It was named after
It was
you.
named after me, Isha's room.
Wow. And these people, you ever
It was family that would come over and walk straight past.
nobody cared.
Or no one was big or bad enough to take on her.
Uh,
You
she was
know,
a powerful woman or something.
she was
She had like a
scary.
powerful
Yeah,
aura.
she was scary. She was mean.
Uh,
Nobody really wanted to go toe to toe with her.
dang. A lot like the stuff that you're saying, it reminds me of like that stuff that just happened to that little girl,
Oh,
where
absolutely.
that grandma is like, having
And
foster kids and stuff.
and I stepped in then, when
You talked
during
about some of
oh,
that.
I stepped in during the search and everything, kind of kept the community on board of what our main focus should have been
Yeah, yeah.
versus trying to attack that grandmother at that time. I mean, she had her wrongdoing, kind of just like the generational curses that I'm talking about now.
Hmm.
I mean, that was a norm for them to throw things and hit you with things and beat you with things that were unknown to be, but nowadays, this is where that curse needs to be broken. So when I spoke with the grandmother, I told her just as well as everyone else, I know you got a past, but I ain't here to badger you about that today.
Hmm.
I know it's the reason that that baby came in your care as well. And my main focus was one, trying to find her, and two, trying to keep the community focused.
Yeah. So you weren't trying to put all the blame
Oh, absolutely
on the
not. I made
grandma.
several lives about it, even down to the allegations as far as like her body parts went. They reached out to me, asked, "Hey, can you please clear this up for us?"
Hmm.
And I made a statement about it. And one thing I do appreciate about our community is they trust in me.
Hmm.
They know my word is not something that just comes out a rabbit's hat.
Hmm.
I'm looking into it. I'm out here with real footwork, getting answers. So
And you have lots of experience in dealing with that whole thing, like the whole foster care system,
oh
and
yeah.
like somebody taking care of you, and like all these people. It was the person that was had you in that situation. Was it an older woman
Oh
too?
yeah.
She was.
She's my sister.
She was your real biological
She was
sister.
my father's daughter.
So yeah, your real biological
Mhm.
half sister though.
She's half. We
So
don't have
she
the same
wasn't
mom.
different mom,
Different mom.
and she's the one that where she got you from. How was it? She got you from.
So again, she was one of those that took in multiple kids, as many as the system would give her. And without telling,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
dad was pretty old when he
Oh,
had
okay.
got my mom pregnant. Everyone didn't believe that I was his because he was so much older and she was so much younger. And then when I came out and it came out that I was born with drugs in my system, my mom went through the course of children's services coming out, visiting, trying to get
Uh-huh.
an update and, give her some type of chance. But ultimately she got me taken.
Uh-huh.
So when they went to look for where I could go, she stepped up.
Yeah, and they're gonna give her first priority because she's a sister.
And originally I was supposed to go out of town with a white family,
Uh,
which probably would have been a whole better life then.
yeah,
But hey, here to tell a story now.
of course. It's like God, you're alive, so God has you. Like He has you on a mission.
It's an assignment.
This was your assignment. Well, I mean, we don't know where it's taking us, but this is my assignment, this podcast, and I have to sit down with people, and I want to get as many stories out because this is what God has for me, and God has this mission for you. And
Absolutely.
we're not sure exactly where it's going to take you, but it's going to take you a lot of different places. I already know that 100%. I can feel it. And you said you have other dreams of writing more books and
Oh
stuff like
yeah.
that. So this book, how has it changed your life so far? What all things have you done since it coming out? I
Since
seen you've been book signings, this,
Oh
that.
yeah, so I did a book release. So by the way, today is my dad's birthday. My deceased father's birthday. He's the
Okay.
first chapter of my book.
Happy
I ch-
Heavenly Father to your father.
right. So I chose to do
Birthday.
this show
Yeah.
on his birthday, and then I chose to do my book release on my mother's birthday.
Okay.
Um, it's kind of a buildup of what brought me to this book. Like, I've done a lot. I graduated last year with honors in medical billing and coding. I moved to Georgia, moved back home, worked in the assignment of helping bring those two young ladies back home that went missing.
Hmm.
And then I want to say smack dead in the middle of me advocating for Ocean Jones, I sent a prayer up
Hmm.
and I said, "What do you want me to do next?" And he said, "Finish that book." And I'm like, "Okay, don't you think that would kind of be rushing it?"
Hmm.
He said, "You got a week." I got all the way to day number 6 of that week. And I looked over at my partner and was like, "Hey, can you?" And I heard, "So you need somebody to remind you to tell you to do what I told you to do." I was like, "Never mind." and I grabbed the laptop, and it took me 8 hours to finish it. After I finished it, I prayed about it again. I said, I'm done. He said, how do you feel? I said, I feel complete. I said, I can't think of nothing else I want to put in here.
Yeah.
He said, and get it published. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
When I say from top to bottom with the work from this book, I've done it. And it feels amazing to know that I can create something so amazing. You know, I've gotten so much feedback
Have you?
of this book from the book. The book release was a success. But even after, the support around our community and even out of town right now is so dope.
Yeah.
Like, everyone wants to read this book. You have something. I tell everyone, do not read this book at work.
Mm-hmm.
It will make you emotional.
Okay.
It'll make you angry. It'll make you upset. I had a friend who only read the top part of page 63 and was just like, it felt like a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely been an inspiring, journey. Like,
Yeah.
I believe that this next book is going to be a banger. I'm my own self-critic. So I've seen the 3 or 4 mistakes that I've made in my book, and I'm ready to tackle this next one with none.
Okay.
So
you've took it as a learning lesson too.
Oh, absolutely. You get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely.
Okay. So the whole process.
All the way down to editing. One thing I respect about my editor is I used a lot of profanity. I say things that a lot of people won't say. They're scared to say, or they're afraid of judgment.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care. So I asked her to not care as
Mm-hmm.
well. As she went through and may feel like these abbreviations is a mistake. It's not. It's me speaking authentically. So she did the best that she can do, and I just know what to invest in with my second one.
Yeah. And the book is it's not like a huge book, so it's pretty good read for people.
18 chapters.
18 chapters.
Which I never designed it like that. I literally only put the titles, the names of my chapters in there. When she was finished, it became 18 chapters. And then my last chapter starts on page 91, which is the same year I was born.
Wow. And it's 18 for 18 years. Mm-hmm. So it worked out. Wow.
And that's how I
kind
of
planned it. You
didn't
even know, huh?
Well, as I walked it down, I did it by the year. So I remember at age this to that. This is what I remember. Aged this to this. This is what I remember. And it turned into a story.
18. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's beautiful. And then the slavery. You say slavery because you were like stuck in there, like for them to do whatever they wanted with you, or what?
It felt if
did you have to clean, cook, all that crap? I mean, not crap, but all that stuff.
So the slavery came from feeling like I was, what is the word I use? I don't want to use the word bait. I don't know what word I want to use.
Trapped?
I felt like I was a slave. Mm. I felt like any and everything that they wanted to happen to me, they allowed. From the sexual abuse to the incest, to the beating, to the verbal, to all of the abuse, they allowed it. So it naturally just made you feel like, if you know anything about our history, a slave.
Yeah.
Like you felt trapped.
Trapped in there.
Like one of my chapters is called, my last chapter is called On My Way to Freedom. Then you got another one that's called First Hump of Freedom. So that was after like she passed away and I got put into another home, you know.
And it was still bad?
It just seemed like it never got better.
So it didn't get, you said 18 years. So when you became 18 years old, that's when you started like living your own life?
My own life.
And you got to break free from all that?
But it was still a struggle because of all the trauma and what you kind of naturally make yourself believe. Mm-hmm. Once I did turn 18, it was a totally different adjustment to life. Like not only did I have to figure out who I was, like I had a lot of catching up to do, from education to driver's license to just being a normal person. Mm-hmm.
So how did you learn how to do all that? Just like from the streets and stuff, or
Yeah, we gotta think. At 16 years old, I had grown men with apartments in their names, cars in their names, let me take over cribs, and so I got smarter in the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have kids, you said?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. How many kids did you end up having?
I have a total of 3.
3
I have a
kids.
son who is an angel baby now.
Mhm.
His anniversary is next month on the 24th. And then I have 2 live births.
Mhm.
I have a boy and a girl.
Okay. And then have they changed your life?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Um,
Did that calm you down from the fighter and all that?
yeah. Yeah. I can say they did, because it's a very important for me to wake up and go to sleep to them every day, you know,
Mhm.
and even make it back home to them every day. So yeah, it made me start rerouting a lot of my decisions
Yeah.
and making me chase goals that I kind of slept on, or even just manifested for a little bit. Oh, this is what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
No, I did it. I showed my son what an honor student looked like. So my son went to school this year and made honor roll 3 quarters in a
Wow.
row. I show my daughter what a strong woman looks like. So she walks around as if she's 5 years old and she's only 1.5.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very inspiring children. There was the one that passed away that
Yeah.
broke the camel's back for me.
I'm sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, he did an emergency brake pull, like,
Mhm.
now what you gonna do? And I had to choose whether or not I was gonna die from a broken heart, or if I was just gonna give up. And instead of doing either one of those, I chose to look at my son and realize that I had something more to fight for. Like, it was still 2 eyes looking up at me and depending on me to be here. So I started attacking it differently. I started this book one. I sat down
Mhm.
at the computer when I felt like, I remember one day I felt like it was just the end of the world. Like, I was hurting so bad from him passing away.
Yeah.
And I turned on my desktop and I started this first page that says, my name is Ieisha Lee Darrington. I was born December 31st, 1991. My mother is Eliza, 25 years of age, and my father, Marcus Darrington. And I didn't stop. The more parts of the book that I got into that were very, very trauma filled, there was times where I broke 1 desktop and 2 laptops trying to get this story out.
And how long did it take from that first day you wrote that first line to the day that God
4
told you?
years.
4 years?
Took
So
me
you
4 years.
started it, but you really didn't
I
finish
started
it?
it, stop. I get to a part where I'm
It was
emotional,
tough.
I'm going through PTSD with it, I'll stop.
Mhm.
Then I'll get back, I'll be in the car on the way out of town and put a piece of it in a memo and transfer it to it. And again, it wasn't until that young lady, Ocean Jones, came up
Mhm.
missing, and that's when it came out, like,
That's
it's
when it
time. And I kept telling the community, like, I'm gonna tell my story, but right now this ain't my time. I need to focus on this young lady.
Mhm.
But afterwards, he said, you got a week.
Yeah. And then you put your batteries in and you said, I got to get this done.
And in 8 hours, I finished.
Wow. So it was just like you procrastinating on yourself, and God's like,
Exactly
come
what
on.
it was.
Like, your story could have helped her. Like, you need to put that story out there so you can help the
Well,
next person.
It was really, once the community kind of leaned on me, like, hey, we believe in you. We trust in you. We hear your voice, and your voice is like moving and making things shake.
Mhm.
It was one of those,
Like a wake-up call?
I prayed. I
Oh.
prayed again, and it was like, why me? Why is all of this attention coming to me? Like, why? What's the difference between my voice and her voice, God?
Mhm.
He said, I built you for this. I said, wait. He said, remember when you used to ask me, why am I so strong? This is what I built you for. Now I need you front and center. I said, but no, I like playing the background. Like, I like sitting in the cut. He said, no, I said front and center.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. And then I kept saying, once I started dealing with like the police department and children's services with it, I'm like, why is this happening, God? Like, why me? He said, because this is your assignment. Remember when you left last year? And no lie, I left last year in a U-Haul with a trailer, with my motorcycle on the back, my car on the trailer. I'm moving to Georgia. I say this prayer like, God, here we go. Wish me luck. He said, you'll be back. I said, wait, huh? I said, no, whatever I'm going to do, whatever I was going to do here, I'll do out of town. He said, okay, well, let's go. Come on, safe travels. Let's get there.
Mhm.
No more than 3 months later, I was back.
Yeah. And he protected you all the way to go there?
There and back.
But what happened over there?
Nothing.
Nothing was moving?
Nothing was wrong. I came
Oh,
back
nothing was wrong.
at all. I just came back to Toledo to work on some family stuff.
Mm.
And when I asked, like, so why me? Why is this happening to me? He said, remember that conversation? This is your assignment I was telling you about.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, because you gotta remember, you're all that stuff happened to you here. So he has you here
I was
for
running
a
from
mission.
trauma when I
Yeah.
left originally. I got tired of turning the streets of Toledo and remembering where this sexual abuse happened or where this physical assault happened or
Mm.
where I was abandoned at over there. Like, and I told myself, like, I'm just getting away from it. I just got to get away from it.
Mhm.
I'll go out of town and I'll finish this book. You see what happened?
You didn't even finish it when you're out of town? No. And then when you said that when you lost your one son, you only had the one older son,
Mm-hmm.
and then you lost the middle one.
Yep.
But then after that,
3 years later,
God gave you
exact,
another daughter.
I had a daughter. So my son was cremated August 3rd of 2020. My daughter was due August 3rd of 2023.
So God helped you,
Brought her back in
even though
full
you
shape
did
and
lose
form.
a son, but
Same hair texture,
wow.
skin complexion.
You know what I noticed too? Like sometimes God got a mission for us, but if we keep
Fighting
against it, somehow he punishes us. I don't know if that's, I don't know.
I wouldn't say punished.
Because I
feel
ended
like
up going to prison.
You feel the weight of, you feel a stagnant in the weight of
Mhm.
it. I don't feel like he punishes us. It gets to a point where he be like, well, you'll surrender when you're ready.
Yeah, yeah.
And every situation where I've called myself either praying against or fighting against what it is he wanted me to do, I've had to surrender with.
Yeah, because you're right. Because the devil's the one that comes to destroy, not God.
As long as you surrender, like, you know what, God?
Yeah.
You got it. Let you
That's
have
what we
this.
got to do. Yeah, you're right.
You're right. I'm done fighting. I'm done. Like,
yeah. And then your daughter, she's 1.5. You said she acts like she's
so
5.
baby will be 2, July 24th. No, that's Kai's birthday.
Mm.
My son that passed. Queen birthday is July 29th and King birthday is August 29th.
Oh, wow.
How did I do that? I don't know.
Is she a blessing though?
Whew. She's amazing, but
Yeah.
she is a handful.
Is she?
For me to have dealt with so much trauma and not remember the younger years like my son can remember. Oh, mama, I was 3. I was 4 when that happened. I can't really remember those years.
Oh, yeah.
To look at my daughter at the age she is, I asked myself, was this me?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no way. She's aggressive.
She's probably just like you were.
I wrote on her daycare papers, aggressive when provoked.
yeah.
Okay, she only becomes aggressive when she's provoked.
Yeah, if you leave her alone, she's fine.
You leave her alone, she's cool.
Okay, so now this is your duty. I know you said you're doing it. Your son has like good grades.
Mm-hmm.
So right now you're on a mission to break the generational curses that were like laid on top of you
Absolutely.
when you were born, all the way from the first day you were born. So tell me a little bit about what kind of things do you do to make sure that they don't see any of those traumas?
Oh,
like on a daily basis, just
on
like
a daily basis to keep my kids. See, I got that soon to be 8-year-old knocking. Like, he's so intelligent. He's memorized the name of my book. He tells everybody my mom is an author. My mom writes books, and he is so determined to really sit down and be able to read this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one that's trying to like blind him from it because I know one day he's gonna come across it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just make sure their lifestyle is different than mine. It's keeping a roof over their head, food in their mouth, keeping my face in their face.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I believe anything my children come to tell me. I don't care if they said the sky was orange today.
Yeah.
He's seen something reflecting. Okay.
Yeah.
And I teach my kids the no square. I just recently told my son a couple weeks ago, I said, look at me. I said, what would your mama do if somebody hurt you? This is his word. My mama kill him dead. I said, you are right about that. I said, so what I want you to understand is no one can ever come to you and say that if you tell on me, I will hurt you. I said, I want you to know I hurt him first.
Yeah.
Okay. So before you get scared and say, I'm not going to go tell my mom that they touched my no square, I want you to believe that you can come tell mommy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, okay. I said, I want you to run. I want you to scream, and I want you to scratch like no other. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, okay. I said, and you do that till you get to me.
Wow, that's amazing.
You do that till you get to me. I want you to know nobody's going to harm me or your family.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, okay. Well, Mom, why you say that? I said, because that's some of the things that people will say.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. And boys and girls.
And that's
'Cause-
my boy I'm teaching.
Yeah, so you taught him like a no-no square. It's
Oh,
like
yeah, he
no
has
one
a
should
song
touch
and everything.
this. That's awesome. Yeah, because a lot of times moms don't tell boys because they tell the girls, but they don't actually tell the boys. But there's older women
That will
that
come after
also
them.
molest little boys.
Mhm.
I went through something like that when I lived with my dad in Massachusetts. His older, like 30-year-old girlfriend would like touch me and my brother. And like I told my mom that like a while ago, and she was like, "No way." I was like, "Yeah, Mom, but we were boys." And my dad thought it was cool.
So that goes to the chapter in this book called, I don't know if we can say this on here.
Yeah, it don't matter. Say whatever.
So this chapter 10 is called Pussy Jumping Like a Leapfrog. That kind of piggies off of sort of what you just said. Incest, molestation happening in the home. And then when you get to an age, like I think I was 13 in that chapter, where a boy tells you you're cute or you look nice today, your shit gets to jumping like a leapfrog. You don't know how to handle those hormones and those feelings. So I made sure I pointed that out because I believe that a lot of the incest and the molestation from when I was younger is what caused me to lose that virginity at such a young age. And I feel like if we address it now, it'd be something that we can kind of get a tackle down on
Yeah.
versus having kids 16 and pregnant.
Yep. You're right. Because then all of a sudden, some little boys give you all this great attention.
That's exactly
And-
what happened.
And then like at home, you're getting beat and all this other stuff. But this little boy's like actually, you're like, dang, you're like falling in love with him.
What I put in here was I put the young man, he was 17 and I was 13. And he was like, "You too young." And I'm like, "No, I'm a grown woman that do big things." Like, he's like, "What? I'm a grown woman. I'm a big girl that do big things." Just even talking like that at 13 years old, like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so you got to make sure that, I mean, you already are, but make sure that your kids don't.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And keeping strong images in front of them. Like, I don't root for a broken home, but if that's what it takes to protect your children, I think it's go all for it, you know? I had a point in time where someone actually tried to get me to choose between them and my child or sending my son away. And here's the keys.
Jesus.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
Like I created this. It's important to me.
Of course, because he's that's the devil. The devil trying to make you do the same thing that someone did to you. You can't let go of your kids. That's why you had all that trauma to begin with. Because someone gave or someone wasn't in the position to have you. You know what I mean? So you cannot ever let no one divide you from.
I teach that boy what a strong woman looks like as well, as far as a strong working woman. My son will tell you, my mom worked for St. V's, Mercy Health, and my mom worked 200 and something hours, and he's not lying. But over time, if we split that 229 hours in half, that was still 100 and something hours.
Wow.
A pay period.
Hold on. What do you do for a living? I never asked you.
So the last 90 days, I've been advocating against the gun violence, sexual abuse, and domestic violence. I've been publishing of this book. I've also launched a nonprofit charity to help fund funeral expenses for children behind my son that passed.
Wow.
I'm launching my nonprofit, All Gas, No Breaks, No Gaps, to help continue to advocate against like the incest and the sexual abuse that is happening in home. And that's what I've been doing the last 90 days, publishing this book.
Fire.
I went from working from home with CVS Health and said full time I needed my attention into this. So that's what I did.
But what did you do?
Before then, I worked for Mercy Health where I started at the bottom of the grid. Anybody that said they can't do it, they lying. I started in housekeeping. I went from housekeeping to registration, from registration back to housekeeping. I had my daughter on maternity leave and came back in surgery. Before leaving them, I was in the process of graduating, which I did. Graduated in medical billing and coding. And when I left out of Mercy Health, I was in pre-admit testing in my own office.
Wow. You grind it from all the way from the bottom
to the
up,
top.
from cleaning the bathrooms and everything to all the way to an
Yes,
office
sir.
with the degree and everything,
With the diploma
with a diploma. That's
and the
fire.
certification.
That's fire. You can't beat that. You're a true testament to everything that you can accomplish as long as you work hard. Because a lot of people think, oh, you need to be this to get that job, but you can actually walk in,
I got my
work your way
GED
up.
while I was pregnant with King, my son.
Wow.
I was in GED classes from 16 to 24.
Mhm.
Every time a job call, I dropped out. One day I looked up and told my partner, hey, I need a couple weeks. Can you hold it down? He was like, yeah. I said, I'm not going to work. I'm going to go get my GED.
Mhm.
I did 2.5 weeks of studying and 2.5 weeks of testing. Started October 5th, finished November 19th. So 5 weeks to get my GED.
Wow.
And
So
walked the stage 7.5 months pregnant with King.
Oh, you were? Wow, that's beautiful. So before you even had your first child.
I made sure I had that.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
And
yeah,
then
'cause-
showed them what it looks like to go to college.
Of course, because you have to break them generational curses. If you don't do it, then them kids will fall into the same ordeal because you'll be going down the same path.
Mhm.
That's amazing. That
It's a little hard, though, to have some conversations with him, my son, because he wants me to go into detail, and I can't.
Yeah, he's still young, right?
He's too young. He's like, Mom, you was a slave? Mom, you survived slavery?
Mhm.
And I'd be like, something like that, son. Or when he'd be like, so where's your mom? Or where's your grandparents? And I have to tell him, like, I've never met neither side.
Mhm.
You know, my dad died 6 months before I was born from a heart attack. I've never even got a chance to meet him.
You don't know none of his family?
I know who his family is. His daughter ended up getting custody of me after he passed, but I know my complete dad side of the family. But it's just certain things I know that he'll never be able to witness and see.
Yeah.
And then they really tell him why. Well, Mom, why don't you talk to? I don't.
Plus,
care to
by
go
your
down.
dad dying, it's like you really don't have a close
Oh, and he
bond.
cries as if he seen his granddad yesterday.
Oh, for real?
He made me take him to the graveyard, show him my dad's plaque, and
Yeah.
he broke down as if.
Like if he knew him? Wow. That goes to show you how the blood is.
And he
like
still to
it's-
this day cries, I miss my baby brother. I miss my granddad.
Wow.
He remembers everything about his brother's funeral too. So.
Because he was born. Yeah, he was
about
alive.
4.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's like ingrained in his memory. Man. Yeah, that sucks. But that's something that you can help him work on. And,
Oh, absolutely.
And plus, by you being who you are now, it's going to guide him into being a great man. Let's take just a small little break.
Yep.
And then I just want to reboot the camera, and then we're going to
Okay,
keep
bet.
going, okay?
I have a 3rd grade picture of me in here. That's the only picture I have of me being an adolescent. Where is it at?
I'm going to read the book. So that's actually you right there.
Yep. Yep. And after I lost Kai, they cut me right across one of my favorite tattoos, and I told myself I was going to do nude modeling. That was one of the ways I was challenging what I was going through. And I took that picture. But when I chose to go the route of creating my own book, I still took that picture because I feel like those circles represent mind, body, and soul.
And those circles was already on your pants?
Nope, that was actually part of the editing of when I first got that logo, the original logo of it made.
And then what is the Ieisha flavor?
So that's my LLC that I sold my book under.
Oh, okay.
I started my LLC as well after he passed.
Wow,
Didn't know what I was going to do with it. Only thing I had in mind was sell new calendars and write a book. And so far, I've only sold a book.
Yeah. What's up with the calendars?
That's me. I'm not doing the calendars no more. Unless I gain my weight back. That's a whole other story.
What was that? What was
So
that?
they were going to be nude pictures
Nude?
all over calendars.
Oh, okay.
So I was going to kind of go with the season or the month and kind of dress it or theme it that way. And I was going through a moment.
Yeah, but this is something way stronger.
That was some way.
That was something. Maybe go ahead. Let's sit back. Let's get back. That was just something. Maybe like you were running out of. You were running out of like. Oh, look at that. That's you.
It's a 3rd grade
How old
picture.
were you?
That was a 3rd grade picture. So like my son's
Third
age,
grade
8
picture.
maybe.
Okay. Wow, you look beautiful.
I look crazy.
Nah, you don't. You look amazing. Wow. It's crazy when you look at those pictures. You went through a lot, but you look like a nice little, beautiful, happy little girl. You know,
Yeah,
because
because
the thing is, you don't know.
you don't know.
You don't know.
At that age, the mind doesn't register like this is wrong, like this is abuse, like
Mm.
this isn't right. And like I said, they wrapped us like a present under a Christmas tree. Anytime we went to church, anytime we got in front of children's services, Social Security, like we knew when to lie for children's services, and we knew when to act crazy for Social Security.
Oh, so you were trained up to be a certain way at a certain time and all that. And then when they came, when children's services would come and check on the house and stuff, and
Yep,
everything
they'll
was.
do drop-ins on like the school or the house, and quiet as kept. I feel like people were making reports maybe as
Yeah.
to why we seen them so frequently. And then also she had so many kids in there from all
Mhm.
different ages. So it was a time where my sister, who's deceased now, she used to come and check on me at the school. And I never understood then why. They would call me downstairs into the hallway, and I'll see her, happy to see her, and she'll just start checking my arms and my legs and tell me to come in the bathroom, and she'll check my butt and my
Mm.
stomach. And again, did not understand why, but she was making sure I wasn't being beat on.
Like bruises and stuff. Uh-huh. Yeah, because a lot of times people like hit people and then hide it,
That
or
put
the
you on a
clothes will
long
cover it.
sleeve. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of stuff that. Then who would do that? Your sister,
So yeah, my sister Tony,
another sister.
that
Yours?
was one of my mom. That's my mom's second oldest.
Oh, okay.
She
So
passed away.
your dad was older, so he had older kids. They were way older
Oh
than
yeah,
you, right?
yeah. The last sister that I know of has like a 30-year gap in
Mm.
between me before I was born.
So that's why they were old enough to like take care of you guys. They were grown adults when you were a little kid.
Yep. And I'm the true definition of the last of a dying breed. We just lost my last sister on my dad's side last year, September 11th, the same day I left for Georgia.
September 11th. That's the day, like for the
Mhm.
you left to Georgia that day.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a Twin Tower Day, September 11th.
9/11.
Yeah, 9/11. Wow, man, your story is wild, dude.
Yep. So now I am a 33-year-old, 3 generation of an aunt.
30. You're 33 right now.
33 years old, and I'm 3 generations of an aunt.
What's that mean?
That means I'm a great, great, great aunt.
Oh, great aunt. Oh, okay. I never heard that word before.
Yeah, 3 generations of an aunt.
Wow. Okay, so let me see. What else can we talk about? So, what is your goal for this book, or what is your goal for um where do you plan on making, like, I don't know, a movie or a
So
film about this?
the first goal that I had was for it to make it into the library, and I succeeded at that.
Mhm.
Did the book release April 4th? April 5th, I submitted my submission and a copy of my book to Toledo Lucas County Library, and they approved it by the 8th of April.
Wow,
So
congratulations.
now I am listed in our downtown library. And then my second goal would be to make this book into a movie.
Mhm.
A little skeptical just because of the rights that I kind of release when I do that.
Mhm.
Kind of have to sell my story over.
Yeah.
And then I might, pose the risk of not being able to be an actor in my own
Mhm.
story. So it's kind of still up in the air. Anytime I post it though on TikTok, on Facebook, I'm tagging Tubi, I'm tagging everybody in it. Tyler Perry, as many pages as I can find. I even got hearted by Monique. I was happy on TikTok.
Yeah.
I dropped it in one of her lives that she was in. But yeah, that's my plan. Make this into a movie, and to get that second book going. Like, it's been a lot of distractions for me lately. I've had to do some regrounding, but I'm ready.
Yeah. Would you be willing to go and make the movie for like an independent, like let's say a Toledo crew wants to do like a independent, like
Absolutely.
Netflix film, and if you guys create the whole thing,
It's
like
all her.
let's say you guys collab and they do it like for free. Like you guys all collab for free, and then if you can actually sell it to Netflix, that's when you guys can split the money.
Absolutely. Now
You'd be
I'll be
willing to
more
do,
okay to do that.
because then you could actually be the actress in your own
Yep.
movie, and you can have like other. You can approve this girl would be me at this age. This girl,
Yep.
you
That's what
know.
I would want to do.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. So if any of you guys, local movie makers or documentary makers, would like to, reach out to her, what is your social media so people?
So I am Queen Isis.
Mhm.
Queen spelled as it sound. Isis, ISIS, the Big One Smith on Facebook. I'm also Queen Isis, the Big One Smith on TikTok.
Yeah.
I did start a YouTube channel that is Queen Isis, the Big One Smith as well. Um, so yeah, that's how you would find me, or even by email, my first and last name, Ieisha Smith 2023 at gmail.com.
Okay. And people can reach out to you either to buy a book, like a actual physical copy of the book,
Absolutely.
and then also where can they go to find like a ebook?
So my ebook is on Amazon,
Okay.
Kindle. We have the ebook version, and then being that I am the self-publisher, I keep all my physical copies. I have a pretty cool company that prints within 48 hours, so
Mhm.
I've been working hand in hand with them with
And
keeping
then
my physicals.
they can reach you on email or any of your social
Yep, any of
medias.
my social medias. If you know somebody that know me,
Mhm.
tell them to reach out to me. More than welcome to assist. But I feel like it's very, very important that this story gets out there, not just mine, but others as well, that it gets out there because it can stop a lot of the generational curses that we live in today.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that a lot of the stuff that you went through could help people like not get into the situations
Oh.
of a lot of the stuff that we're seeing nowadays. There's like a lot of evil in this world.
Because
So
believe it or not, our teenagers don't realize that some of the things that they're putting themselves in is considered self-harming. So when you're running away and you're wanting to hit the streets and you think that it's okay to prostitute, let alone strippers, or anything of that nature, sell drugs, you're putting yourself in self-harming situations.
Mhm.
And those are things too that I think needs to be identified. And I talk about it a lot in here. I mean, I identify times where I put myself in self-harming situations and didn't realize that self-harming is more than just cutting yourself or trying to, commit harm to yourself. It's putting yourself in those harmful situations blindedly,
Mhm.
what I would say unconsciously, and not knowing, the consequences from it. And they come with consequences.
Yep.
Like these streets are eat or get ate out here.
Yeah, it's really horrible right now. I seen a podcast that said like um like out of every 10 girls, about 3 of them are either doing OnlyFans, some kind of porn, or selling themselves, or selling pictures of themselves. So I think it's really important to get out there, like, and a lot of times it's older guys manipulating these younger girls into
Absolutely.
doing something like that.
I mean, I talk about that as well. Promising a life, a life that's better than what they're in. Um, Another really important reason of writing this book is to let them know that it doesn't stop there. Like what you're living in and what you're feeling at that time, life does not stop there. And I remember feeling numb and feeling like life had stopped right there,
Mhm.
at that time. So, and then I leaned on these older men. Oh, well, he's going to give me a life. He has this material thing and that material thing. And at least I'm not on the streets. It's okay if I had sex with him. At
Mhm.
least I'm not on the streets. He's making sure I got a meal. All things that are manipulative, is an advantage,
Yeah.
that's being taken of you. And it's important to know the difference in it. I don't care what he got, how much money he got. Like, it's not okay for a grown man to be molding on a young woman like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Manipulating them and trying to
The mind, I remember where my mind was at 16 and being 33 today and looking around at these teenagers. Like, I could not see my 33-year-old self even finding desire, let alone attraction of a 16-year-old boy.
Mm.
So, but when I look at our young generation now, I see how they're built, and it's not too far from how I was.
Mhm.
We have to protect them. We have to
Of
ensure
course.
that safety. Like, I'm so tired of seeing people give up because, oh, she thinks she fast or she thinks she grown. Like, this is your opportunity to change that.
Of course. And there's a bunch of like these little like pimp dudes that are trying to find these young girls that are in like these horrible situations at home,
Uh-huh.
and trying to say, hey, come over here,
Uh-huh.
get glitz and glamour. But it's really just to manipulate them
Manipulate.
and then take all the money from them.
Causing them to have sex with other men for money, beating on them, making them feel like they're the master or they're the only person that mattered because nobody else cared about them before.
Yeah, and I care about
And
you,
I care about you.
which is
Oh,
bullshit.
I talked about it. I talked about
Yeah.
how that grown man thought
Yeah, I didn't even know.
he was gonna have me underneath his wing, and I started hitting his drugs. Hey, let me get that. I'm gonna go sell this since you don't want to give me the money for my own place.
Mm.
Oh, you think it's okay to lay up with me and I'm only this age? Well, I need that. I need that. Oh, I got over on him when he finally released me at 18. It probably was like a breath of fresh air because I ran him crazy.
So you started getting smarter than him.
Oh,
You say, well,
absolutely.
if you're gonna be doing this, I'm gonna be doing
Yep,
this.
I need this. And I'm 16 thinking that an ounce is all that fit in this Ziploc bag, and the
Yeah.
whole entire time I'm taking QPs, quarter pounds from this man, and don't even know, like, hey, you want to buy this?
Yeah,
And
you don't
GD,
need-
hey, you want to buy this?
People are like, hell yeah.
They like, yeah,
They
go
getting
ahead, give me that.
They
Like,
got
I was
good
talking
deals.
about good
Like she
deals. And it was like, can you get me
Queen
another
Sis
one?
got good deals.
Yes. They like, can you give me another one? I'm like, yup, sure can. I mean, looked out for the family. I got to the point where you were making me think that he would tell me that with my mouth, someone would have been knocked me out. He used to tell me, like, do you see how old you are? A 30-some-year-old woman has more to offer and bring to the table. And look at me, 16, so fragile in the mind. I was beating myself down like, well, what can I do? What can I do to make them
Yeah.
happy?
He was trying to downgrade you and make you feel smaller.
They'll put you in situations where you're doing sexual things with people that you shouldn't be doing it with because you think that's what is satisfying to them, not knowing like you don't really want to do this. Like,
Yeah, and they make you think that you're the only one or you're their boy, but really they don't care.
in real life.
Yeah. And then like, one thing I always think, like, people like that, why don't, right now they're going after all these immigrants and all this stuff. Why don't they go over and try to get these predators, these dudes that are like preying on young girls, like American citizens, you know what I'm saying, all over.
Because sex trafficking is very, very high in the state of Ohio. It is something that is swept underneath the rug time after time after time again. Time after time after time again. It's to the point where not only is it the sex trafficking that's swept, but I believe one year there was 53 allegations of rape sent to Lucas County and only 3 convictions. What would that tell you?
That's crazy.
Sex trafficking is very high.
It's crazy.
They make us comfortable by saying like, oh, well, in the state of Ohio, you can get the life sentence behind it, but can you convict? Can we charge at least?
Yeah.
Can we investigate? Can we stop the generational curses?
Yeah.
Because year after year, time after time, decade after decade, it's been swept.
Yeah. And when one guy rapes a young girl, that leaves some like trauma for the rest of her life, right? Like even with trust issues, intimacy issues, like every little thing, right?
That's something that I get to talk about in the second book. Because after turning 18 and making it out of this.
Hold on, tell me about what your plans are for another book, because we talked about it, but we never really actually.
Gotcha. So the second book is called From Change to Currency.
It's something that you already started?
Something I already been.
Are you planning in your brain or what?
I've had all 3 of the titles of my book planned even before I even started this one.
Okay.
So I knew this one was going to be about 18 years of slavery. And by the time I got a quarter into this book, I said the next book is going to be From Change to Currency.
From change to currency.
From chains.
From chains
to currency. So from the shackles of feeling like a slave to becoming a boss.
Okay.
But then I get to do a recap of 18 years of slavery, kind of filling in some of the stuff that I left out. And giving a quick recap maybe in the first 6 chapters, and then I'll go into the rest of my life from 18 up until where I am now.
Yeah.
And it was a huge, huge adjustment.
Yeah.
Finding oneself, like you said, it affects your sexual life. After having something took like that from you for so long, when having sex, you almost desire that.
Oh.
The ideal of it being took. And And these are things that no one is going to speak about or beyond, or sometimes
Yeah,
even
I've
be
never
honest
heard
about.
anyone say that
But
before.
yes,
So you almost want the trauma. You almost want
yeah,
the way that
you'll
it
ask for the
was.
pain, you'll ask for the roughness,
Mm,
like not knowing that you're only reenacting your trauma. Like this is not really desirable for you. So I had to learn me
yeah.
inside out.
I'm so sorry to hear about all
What
this.
made me smile, what made me quiver, what I had to learn all of that all over again.
Yeah. And this is something that's like, it's endless. It's like gonna be with you forever.
What it created was self-control. A level of self-control that's out of this world.
Explain that a little bit. What kind of self-control?
So you can't take anything from me. Physically, mentally, spiritually. You not only can you not take from me, when you're younger and you're going through all of that trauma, it makes you become not a little, it makes you become promiscuous. You start using sex to let out other emotions
Mhm.
and to handle certain things in life. So it caused me to gain a control over that, where I'm not easy to say, oh, because you think I'm cute, or we said we was cool and kicking it for a couple weeks, you should have me. Sex is sacred to me. It's it's like that sanctuary that they tell you to praise. That's how I look at it now versus then.
Yeah.
Versus then it's here, take it, have it. I don't care.
Also,
Everybody else then took it. Everybody else then, what else you want?
so by you going through all that trauma at 13, 14, you already was like, whatever. So is that you said that when you were 13, you started like messing with like 16, 17-year-old boy?
Oh, 17-year-old boys. By the time I hit freshman high school, my boyfriend was like 20 something years
And you
old.
had more sexual knowledge than them, right?
No. 14 years old, still fragile in the mind.
But you
Was scared to have
but you
sex.
already was like
I
things were
experienced it.
happening, right?
Yeah, I had
But you said you were
experienced it.
promiscuous, so I was wondering like
so that those days came more
a little later.
Yeah, a little
Okay,
later. Once
okay.
I hit the streets and found that was the way of life of getting the things that
But
you
that
needed.
wasn't
And
when you were a little
no,
older.
not when I was younger.
Yeah, okay, yeah. When you were younger, they were still manipulating
they
you
were taking.
to become that person. So once you got a little older, you started saying, "Hey, I know what I can try to take advantage of these guys."
And
And
that's exactly what I did.
You can use your stuff to be like, I'm going to try to maneuver to get.
And besides them taking, and I'm like, well, if I give it to them and they give me what I need, we good.
Yeah. But that's all built from the trauma that you, because if you were just like, let's say you did get, what is it called? Adopted by a white family in the suburbs, you wouldn't have ever
never went through any of that.
Yeah, you would have been more educated, more normal kind of like life.
And it's the lack of support from the family as well. Like, I had a brother, my dad's son, who raped me. And instead of the family being supportive, they closed doors, they turned backs, they made accusations.
They don't believe you.
She's gonna be pregnant by the time she turns 16. She's gonna have the first case of HIV. Then they moved me into their home because there's a check. There's a nice big Social Security check. They moved me into the home, and now their child, their son, is coming at me, which is my first cousin. The moment I spoke up, backs got turned, threats got made, to the point where I was just like, the streets got to be better than this.
Yeah.
If my own family gonna do this
That's
to me,
bullshit.
I
And
might as well.
I've seen that. They'll say that it's up. Why are you dressed like that? You're the one.
Oh, she said, if I find out you and my son having sex, I'm both of y'all up. I'm like, well, this only came about because he knew I was about to tell on him. And I keep telling you to stop leaving me here in your house with him. Do you not notice every time you leave me here and come back from work or come back from in the streets, I done ran away? You ain't noticing this? Or you think I really just want to be in the streets cold and washing up in libraries? And then it was this thing where my mom's side, the person that did have me, my aunt, she would dog my mother so bad about, who she was and how you ain't lived with your mother a day in your life and you act just like her. And like, that's not cool. If I already don't really got a good image in my mind about her, like, didn't do anything to bring us closer, let alone, guide my mom to getting custody of us. It was just like, yeah, I got her child and I'm raising just this weird glutton thing. Like,
Were you ever in your mom's life at all? She never came back for you, nothing? What, the streets took her? She ended
They
up
took
passing
her.
away?
No, she's still
She's still
around.
alive?
My biological is. My mother figure did pass though.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
I'm saying your
my
biological.
biological is still around. She
Got lost in the streets.
kind of got lost in them, and then by the time she did kind of come to her senses, the system was just like, "Hey, you've played enough games with us.
Mm,
You've lost all parental rights to your children,
yeah.
so you could quit telling them that you about to get custody of them."
Yeah, yeah.
She did that a couple times to get me to turn myself in.
Did you ever talk to her as an adult?
My mom was one of my biggest supporters with my book,
Oh, for real? So you guys are cool now?
to an extent.
Say to an extent.
Uh-huh.
It's hard, you know.
Yep, she woke up on her birthday this year and was like, my sister started singing happy birthday. She was like, yeah. Aisha's book releases today.
Uh,
I want to come to Toledo. My
okay.
baby book releases today. Like, when I say proud of me,
That's good.
tells me I'm her stallion. You know, she asked me one day, because she's read the whole book. She was like, I have one question. Would you lie to me? I'm like, no. She said, did all that stuff really happen to you? I said, yes, ma'am. She was like, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I mean, I am who I am today. I mean, she not gonna say she could have saved us, sorry, but I get it.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
My dad even, my foster dad even, and I hate to call him my foster dad, he's my pops.
Mm-hmm.
He read my book as well and called me in the middle of the night at 12 o'clock. I'm sorry. I got family passing it around to other family right now. They see me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry for how I treated you. And I'm just like, I didn't even think you treated me messed up, but okay.
Yeah.
So it lets you know where people's minds were then.
Or they
like,
weren't there. They didn't notice it and they feel sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that kind of stuff happened to you because I don't like to see nothing like that. And then I know that you were a little girl when that stuff happens, and I have kids and I have daughters, so it's sad, man. It's fucked up. This world is so demonic. We gotta make sure. You know what? When you said that you're 33, you know Jesus started his
I know.
when he was 33.
I read about it on my birthday.
Yeah.
I didn't understand what 33 meant and something because I'm into angel numbers. I looked it up
Mm-hmm.
and found out that this was my year.
This is your year.
Yeah.
This is your calling, man. I'm sorry for calling you, man. This is your calling, girl. This is your thing. It doesn't matter who fights it. You got to keep fighting to tell your story. Don't let no one put you down. Don't let no one stop you because there's a calling for you. You are meant to help somebody. Have you been to churches and stuff to talk about your story or anything?
I just got invited.
Yes.
I got invited to, I can't think of the name of it. I walked into a daycare today and she was like, you know, I'm the one that's been trying to reach out to you. I'm like, I didn't even know. We didn't put it together. She said that she wants me to come speak with her youth. I have schools, but right before school let out, I was supposed to go speak with the 4th grade class, I believe.
Yeah.
I've sat in a couple all women's group and gave my story, but it's definitely time for me to, you know, really tap in and get it out there more.
Yeah.
My biggest hopes is, and I hate to say this, that this book's get inside of Scott High School, Start High School, Bowser.
Wait.
You know, because it's kids behind those walls who they didn't want to see the summer come this year.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to see winter break come because then they're on their own.
Oh, yeah.
They're back in the streets.
Damn.
You know, sometimes the only shelter we have is those people.
Wow, I didn't even know.
I used to get chased out of Scott High School by Officer OT.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did he chase me? And I used to jump flights. Dome.
Yeah.
Dome.
Why though?
Straight out the side because they were going to take me back in.
Oh.
And I still found education important.
And you wanted to be at school and you wanted to be
at
there.
school. I wanted to be normal.
And then at school you get your lunches, everything.
I can eat. I can still try to graduate high school and maybe go to prom or something. I still had dreams of being something, but after a while of getting chased and actually getting took in and put back into the homes or back into, you know, harm's way, I stopped going. I was like, that's it.
Yeah, because some kids, they don't, unless they're at school, they don't eat, they don't drink, like they don't have nothing.
And some of them really walk the streets, daylight in, daylight out.
There's some parents that sell all the food stamps, they sell all the money, they sell all the things. They don't care about those kids.
There's a child sleeping somewhere in the trap house right now at night, and nobody knows. I know because I was her. Yeah. Breaking into empty houses, And you know which one is a trap house. Most likely they got couches in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's all ran down.
Boarded up stuff, whatever.
I remember this guy. I was walking up Central in Collingwood at 4 a.m. I had nowhere to go. I remember being so tired this day. I was so tired. And this guy rode up on me on a bike. He was like, you could come with me. And hearing that back then, anytime someone would say, get in, you can come with me, that just let me know I ain't have to walk the streets no more. I'm possibly about to go eat, get some sleep. So I follow him into the Old West End area. And he goes in this window, come back out through this side door. He took me in, and I remember this tan couch. It was super dark in there. And I remember him dragging his mongoose bike in through the side door too.
Mm-hmm.
And this man watched over me the entire night. I slept just kind of sideways on this couch. And he sat there and watched over me that entire night.
But he didn't do nothing to you?
Didn't do nothing.
That's cool.
To
God's
me.
angels.
And I really thought like he was going to try something. And at that point, I was about used to it.
Yeah, I thought so too.
You know, I was about used to it at that point. He didn't try anything.
Mm-hmm.
He let me sleep. And that next day I woke up and I remember he handed me like one of those deli sandwiches.
Mm-hmm. Like wrapped up in cellophane or something.
And some chips. I was like, thank you. And I kind of just went about my business.
Yeah. That's God's angels protecting you right that night.
At least at that moment, for sure.
Yeah. And then on that night, you know, he knew you were tired and you needed some rest.
I was tired.
And sometimes, you know, there's the couple people in the world that take care of you.
And that's that self-harming again, because I didn't know what that man would have done to me getting me in the house. But I had to take that risk to.
Yeah.
So many risks I had to take just to get there.
Your life is. I'm so proud of the woman that you're becoming, because your life was a mess and nobody really was there for you. Let's take a small little break. I just want to start the camera over, and then we're gonna do a little. Real last name is Darrington, right?
Darrington, yeah.
Darrington. And Smith is just this from your marriage, this last marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You've been married one other time before. What was your last name before?
I kept it Darrington. I never changed
it. Oh, you did? What was his last name?
Her last name was Brown.
You were married to a girl?
Correction officer.
Oh, so you've been through some life things. So you were married to, at one point you were with a girl, married to a girl.
8 years.
Wow.
That was my blanket for my trauma.
But okay, so then after that, that's when you got and started having kids and stuff. But for those 8 years, you didn't have no kids at that point, right?
We had King in 2017. So it was something that we agreed to, but let her tell the courts we didn't. We agreed to me having a baby.
Hold on, do you want this on the podcast?
Okay.
Huh?
Okay. We agreed to me having a baby. Went to the fertility clinic. We went through $11,000 trying to get her pregnant first. And then when it came my turn, I was like, I'm going to do it the natural way. And she was like, I don't want to know nothing about it, who it's with. And 3 weeks later, I came back and was like, hey, I'm pregnant. She's like, quit saying that. I'm like, no, I'm serious. She's like, come on, let's go to the hospital. And we went, and sure enough, I was pregnant. And she was like, it worked. Like, yeah. Okay. But when she found out who it was by, she almost had a heart attack.
Oh, for real? Why? Somebody you knew?
It was an next door neighbor.
Yeah.
What not other person to use? It was easy.
Yeah.
I asked him, hey, I want a kid. I won't come after you for nothing. He said, all right. I mean, and then I hate to be cocky, but who wouldn't want a piece of my chocolate self? So he just thought it was an opportunity to get him some cheeks. And he did, and he knew it was coming with it. And still to this day, he's a dope guy. I mean, I got to give it to Jarvis.
That's the father?
Yep, he does what he's supposed to behind his son. Anytime we pull up, King just said last week, Mom, I want to go to my dad's house. That was a Wednesday. We pulled up at his dad's house. He knocked on that door. His dad opened the door and was like, come on. He's been with his dad since. And I'm like, when you coming home? He's like, Mom, I'm having a good time. Well, have a good time.
Okay. So he's in his dad's life. So his dad, you don't go after nothing from him, but he's always been there?
We get child support now. We didn't originally. He just got it for the first time last year. But still then, I mean, it's enough to take care of, I feel like, King's necessities, you
Mhm.
know? King has a cell phone, it pays a cell phone bill. King wears a size 2.5 shoe now. It pays for
Mm.
those big old feet.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I make sure it's invested in him, you
How
know?
about the other lady? She's not in King's life anymore?
They have it where she does a visit once a month,
Uh,
with him.
does
My
he
honest
look at
opinion.
her like a mom or anything?
Yes, he does.
Oh, he does?
I explains to him because I feel like she does try to brainwash a little bit,
Uh-huh.
but I do make sure I explain to him, "Hey, I'm your biological, I'm your only mother."
Mhm.
Um, and that is like a God mom, and he knows what a God mom is
Mhm.
like. And then I explain to him like she's also like a friend of the family, as
Mhm.
to, and it's important that you're a part of her life as well, and he gets it.
Yeah. And how long was she around until King was how old?
Um, on and off,
On
but
and off.
every
Like
time we broke up, it
this
was I'm going on about my business.
oh.
But
But I mean, when he was first born, were you guys solid for
oh
a
yeah,
while, like a couple years
the
or something?
entire well, when King was 4 months, that's when I left.
Oh,
I
that's when
left for the
it
first
all
time.
started,
Yeah,
like
that's when I started
unraveling.
leaving.
Yeah.
But very healthy pregnancy.
Was it because you really didn't think that you were like meant to be with a girl? You were just trying that out, or what was that about?
That later on came years down the line, but it became abusive.
Oh, it did.
Um, a lot of people would say I look aggressive. I may
Mhm.
be aggressive. And people would take that story about me and some of my past and use it against me. So knowing that my hands are tied behind my back or I'm sitting on top of them and I don't want to hurt anyone, they'll try to attempt to hurt me first to get
Mhm.
a reaction. And that's what she used to do. She tried to body me a couple of times, hopped on top of me a couple of times, and then when I got to that, boom,
Mhm.
and hit her. Oh my God, you made me bleed.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
calling the
yeah.
police. Like,
Everything was fine until you
yeah. So
reacted.
once I seen it becoming more domestic, I was like, you know what, I gotta go. Like,
Mm.
this not gonna end well.
And then did you think about finding a new girlfriend, or did you just
Oh no,
do you
that was
like
it.
I need to find me a man?
No, that was it.
So it was
Um,
more like you were bi instead of like
I would say that just when I dated one sex, I didn't mess
date.
around with the
Oh,
other, or
okay.
vice versa. There was one chick that I know she'll hate to hear this, but she was a rebound.
Mhm.
To kind of get away from the ex-wife.
Okay.
And all in all, I left her too.
Mm.
She didn't last no longer than 6 months.
Yeah.
But once
So
I got rid of them two, it was over with. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go back over to the other side, and I know the difference between right and wrong. I know in the Most High, um what I needed to do.
mhm.
Although she praises what it is that she is and that she's in, I didn't feel like I was gonna make it to heaven. So
Mhm.
something had
Do
to
you
give.
believe in God and stuff?
Absolutely.
Were you raised in church your whole life?
Yeah,
You said they would button you up and take you to
yeah,
church.
yeah. They raised us in the church. I talked about it in the book
Mm.
how I thought that some of the people in the church may have knew what was going on in the home, but kind of kept quiet about it.
Mm.
Um, I talked about it.
Yeah.
I was in church. Church was like kind of like what they gave the slaves, the Bible. Give them something to believe in. That's what
Mhm.
I felt like church was for my household. Going to church just gave me something more to believe in than the abuse back home.
Yeah.
But I also prayed to God, like, well, it's a part of my book where I'd be like, when my sister passed away, I was like, well, God, if she going up there with you, then leave me down
Yeah.
here. Like, I'm
I
like,
don't wanna go up there,
because
man.
I know what I prayed about in church. I
Yeah.
know what I'm supposed to believe in. If she going with you, I'm staying here.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
but I used it as as a belief thing, just to have something to believe in. I remember laying in the bed as a little girl, looking out the window, and was just like, is life telling a story about me? Why is it that I only can see what I'm going through? Is anybody else getting beat on? And like
Mhm.
really asking myself that, is anybody else going through this? Like next
Yeah.
door? Like what are they thinking in their mind? Why can't I hear what other people are thinking, God? Like
Mhm.
I
It's just
had us
sometimes you
wondering.
feel like you're the only one. Yeah. Man, your story is so
Then they threw Ritalin.
riddling,
Mhm. They
like
threw that right on top of everything.
uh like some pills to make you like
So that made
calm
you a
down.
zombie and it made you defenseless. So when things were happening, you didn't fight back as fast, or you didn't respond
You were
like you were supposed to.
drowsy.
You were drugged.
They do that a lot. They try to give all these kids.
And it's all about the check.
Yeah.
In order to get a Social Security
Because
check,
it adds to the money.
Psychiatrist needs to diagnose. And if they diagnose, they most of the time give medication. And the kid got to be on the medication so that you can keep the assessment up to par.
Damn. So it's all like a big money grab from every which way. From the person taking care of you to the doctors to the nurses to the government, everything. Wow.
Yeah.
So freaking horrible.
I hit my 9th grade year, looked at that bottle of Concerta, poured it right down the toilet. Y'all not giving me this no more.
Yeah, you stopped taking it.
I'm in high school where everything is fast motion and you think this is what I should have
to
slow me down. Couldn't play sports because the medication slowed you down.
Yeah.
And have you tapped in like everybody else was.
Man. So this is crazy. So your book is 3, you're going to do like a 3-part series. This is the first 2?
The other book that I'm writing is called 90 Day Run.
That's the other one you said?
That's the third one.
That's the third one.
90 Day Run, believe it or not, it's toxic. It talks about finessing, how women finesse men and how men finesse women. And then it kind of, in my opinion, touched bases on how women are kind of using the game backwards, selling themselves versus using their mouthpiece to get what it is that they need. So it's a little toxic, but
yeah.
And then the kids, King and Queen, are both going to start their own book line.
Oh, are they?
I'm going to let King start off writing first and even writing for his sister if he feels like it. But I'm going to branch off with them as well.
That's good. That's good because you can teach them how to become somebody just by you becoming somebody.
And build money for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And then so the 2 other books, have you started writing them already?
No.
Not even that first page?
From Change to Currency was supposed to start April 1st. I didn't get to that. It is coming.
Yes.
I give myself that week. And hopefully I don't wait till day 6.
Yeah. But you have a lot of it already. Because when you talked about it, it seemed like you already had it.
I know what it's going to be.
Yeah. You said what it's about, the name. You can actually almost like physically
But that's exactly how I visualized that book. I talked about it a lot. I envisioned it as much as I could. And then one day I just sat down and made it happen.
I think it's really important to do all that. You can pray about it, but you have to envision it.
You have to put the footwork in.
You have to envision the final product so you can actually get it. Like this podcast, I envisioned this whole thing before I even had this office. And then even when I got the office, it was just 2 chairs. I never had none of this other stuff, but I envisioned, I want to make a set. I want to do this. I didn't know what it was, but I envisioned something
piece by piece, you made it happen.
I think that's very important that you're doing that. Basically, people believe in, different things, but like you can manifest things into reality using God, using yourself, we're all very spiritual creatures. We can actually think something into physical.
Absolutely. Manifestation starts in the mind first before it comes out of the mouth. Manifestation has a lot to do with your mindset and how you think. So if you're constantly thinking negative, that's what you're manifesting, whether or not it's coming out your mouth or not.
Yep. You're absolutely right. The more you down yourself and you say, I can't, I'm always tired, then you're always going to be tired. I lose my keys, and you're always going to
I'm going to work on my book this week. And
that's a positive. Yep.
No, it was times where I'm going to work on it and didn't do it.
Oh, you didn't do it.
And didn't do it.
Yeah,
well, I'll get back to it another time.
Yeah.
Oh, really sat down and put that work in. Like, this is what I want. This is the results I want from it. And
of course.
And I've gotten results.
Big results. You can make yourself do it. If you force yourself to do it when you don't want to, then you can actually create a new habit in your life. I do that with working out. I hate working out, but I wake up in the morning and wake up in the morning, do some push-ups, and I don't want to, but I'm like, I have to. And I post that online. That's another thing that I like that you do. You post a bunch of stuff online. You post pictures when you do the book signings, you post all that online. That's very important because that drives either more people to your book, but also it inspires more people.
Absolutely.
You're not just this person hidden in the back. I wrote a book and here it is online, but no one knows who you are.
Nope. I'm
You're-
active in the community.
Yeah,
with it.
that's good. And you're sitting down on podcasts, you're sitting down doing interviews, you're doing book signings. That's very positive because you're out there. People can see you, touch you, talk to you, and you can guide a young girl that's maybe going through something like that. You could sit her to the side. So if churches really want to reach out to you, they can reach out to you on your Facebook or Instagram,
Oh,
all that,
absolutely.
and maybe you can go do like your testimony. You don't have to put the whole thing, but you can actually take some books with you to the churches. You do part of your testimony, or the church version.
Absolutely.
You don't have to go in that deep, but then you say, and I have some books in the hallway. If anybody wants to stop by my table and give me a book, I think that's a good idea. And I know a lot of people from churches. If I want anybody that has a church or any kind of youth, a program or anything, to reach out to her so she can actually go and talk to the youth, young girls, even like foster care,
Absolutely.
churches, anything like that. We need to be able to speak this into, speak to the girls and the boys and let them know, because you are a living testament to this thing. I really appreciate you so much for sitting down. It was a pleasure. Well, one thing that I always, since my podcast is have faith, show love, give hope. Absolutely. At the end, I want you to, from your experience, just look at the camera and give a message of hope to the city through things that you've been through, things that through your life, from your experience. Give the whoever's watching, mostly the people that's watching, just local people from here in Toledo, give them a word of hope for the future. Look at all the beautiful things that you've got, even though you've been through so much stuff. So can you look at the camera and give them a little hope, please?
Let's see. A message of hope that I would want the community to have is never consider yourself counted out. I can recall many times where I felt like I was counted out and that I didn't matter, or I wasn't as important, or I wouldn't make it. But it took a lot of confidence. It took a lot of my struggle to make me as strong as I am. Another word of encouragement is take that struggle, that trauma, that pain, and turn it into something positive. That was the best decision I could have ever made in my life. I've lived more through my truth in this book than I ever have in my life. And I've realized how much I've processed. So I encourage everybody to just kind of find that tick. I told them it was a tick that I had. I had this tick, and I just kind of took off with it. Find that tick, find that comfort, and be you. Express yourself, even if it's not in a book. Find ways to get out here and help ensure the safety of our children and our community.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you get on all her social media. Subscribe on hers. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast. Make sure you guys comment if you guys got anything that you guys want to tell her or tell me, or any inspiring stories that you guys might have. And if anybody wants to reach out to any of us, maybe you can come on the podcast and tell us your story, or maybe you can reach out to her and have her come to one of your events and maybe speak to some of the young kids or even grown adults, because her story is powerful and it could help anyone in all kinds of different situations. We appreciate you guys so much for watching. Have faith, show love, give hope, let go, and let God.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show where hearts ignite. It's time to grow. Let's shine.